Good afternoon and welcome to this meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee. I am Alice Aubrey from Democratic Services. The subcommittee today is made up of councillors Jackie Davies, James Giles and Robert Kim. The first item of business is the appointment of a chair for the meeting. May I ask subcommittee members to nominate a chair?
Yes, please. I would like to nominate Councillor Giles.
Thank you. And is that okay with you, Councillor Kim?
Yes, I would second. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's agreed. Councillor Giles is in the chair.
Thank you, colleagues, and thank you, Alice. This meeting is being broadcast live, recorded, and will be made available on the Council's YouTube channel. The agenda is available on the Council's website by following the links, first clicking Your Council, then clicking Council Meeting Calendar. You will find this meeting on today's date. The quorum for this meeting is 3 members, and all will need to be present at all times. If any subcommittee member or the legal advisor lose connection, we will pause to allow them to rejoin as soon as possible. To reduce feedback, I'd ask everyone to keep their microphones muted when they're not speaking, and I can see everybody is already doing that, which is great. After the subcommittee's heard the submission, I will ask if members have any questions on it. Members can also indicate they wish to speak by raising their hand, but I would ask they don't use the chat function, as I won't be able to see it on the system I'm using. Please also, to those in the call, do not use the chat function to ask questions of officers or members. Remember, all meeting participants on the video call can see what is in the chat. Please also keep mobile phones in silent mode or switched off during the meeting. As already said, my name is Councillor James Giles, Councillor for Green Lane and St James Ward. I'll now pass over to the other councillors in the meeting. First, Councillor Davies.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jackie Davies and I'm a ward councillor for Berrylands.
Thank you. And Councillor Kim.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Kim, the councillor for the New Malden Ward.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Also in attendance today, we have Guy Bishop, our legal advisor, Binny Day, our licensing officer, Jason Chinnery, the applicant. 2 other persons are also in attendance, Vicky Harris and Stephen Griffiths. Alice Aubrey, Democratic Services Officer who opened the meeting, will take notes as we go along. Does any member of the subcommittee have a pecuniary interest, non-registrable interest, or other registrable interest to declare in relation to this application? I'm seeing shaking of heads, so I'm going to take that as a no, and I don't have any either. There are no minutes to confirm at this meeting, and that's because our previous meeting was only this morning, and so although Alice is a wonderful secretary, she can't type them up quite that fast, so they'll be agreed later. The parties have already been notified of the usual procedures for licensing hearings, which are also set out on pages 5 to 7 of the agenda pack today. Paragraph 57 on page 6 of the agenda pack deals with notification of the decision following the subcommittee's deliberations. This will firstly be confirmed by email later today, and our full details and reasons for that decision will be made available within 5 working days. Are there any objections to proceeding on the basis of those procedures? I'm not seeing any hands go up, so I'm going to assume that that is not the case. So we're going to move on to the hearing. We're here today to hear an application for a new premises licence under the Licensing Act 2003 for the Corinthian Capitals Football Club, King George's Recreation Ground, Queen Mary Close, Surbiton, KT6 7NA. This can be found on Appendix A, page A1 of the agenda pack. I'd first like to call on Binny Day, the licensing officer, to introduce the application. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. This application for a new premises licence relates to Corinthian Casuals Football Club, King George's Recreation Ground, Queen Mary Close, Chesington, KT6 7NA. The application was made on 29th of May 2025 by Corinthian Casuals Football Club Limited. The application seeks the grant of a new premises licence to authorise the following licensable activities: the sale by retail of alcohol for consumption on the premises only, Sunday to Thursday from 1000 to 2300 hours, and Friday and Saturday from 1000 to 0100 the following morning. Please note the sale of alcohol from the outdoor bar when in use will end at 2200 hours. The provision of recorded music, both indoors and outdoors, Sundays to Thursdays from 1000 to 2300 hours, and Fridays and Saturdays from 1000 to 0100 hours the following morning. The provision of recorded music outdoors will also end at 2200 hours. The provision of late night refreshment, Friday and Saturday from 2300 to 0100 the following morning. And on New Year's Eve, the hours for all licensable activities and opening hours are to be extended to 0 to 30 the following morning. The premises currently benefits from a premises license for the clubhouse only. The applicant now wishes to extend the licensable area to cover the entire site, hence the need for a new application. Relevant pages of the application form and a plan of the premises are attached at Annex 1. The proposed hours of operation are laid out in Annex 2. I confirm that the applicant has advertised the application by way of public notice displayed at the premises and in a local newspaper. The application has also been made available on the council's website. I confirm that all responsible authorities received a copy of the application. Representations were received from the Metropolitan Police in relation to the prevention of crime and disorder licensing objective. Following negotiation, the applicant has addressed concerns by making amendments to their operating schedule. These amendments are reflected in the conditions shown in Annex 3 of this report. In light of these amendments, the concerns raised by the Metropolitan Police have been satisfied and the representation withdrawn. In accordance with the Council's licensing policy, 27 addresses were consulted in writing and informed that an application had been received. 3 valid representations were received from other persons. The representations make reference to matters that relate to all 4 licensing objectives. Copies of the representations are attached at Annex 4. Copies of all representations have been forwarded to the applicant and have been made available to the licensing subcommittee. A map showing the approximate location of the premises is attached as Annex 5, with photographs attached as Annex 6. In considering this report, the licensing subcommittee is required to take into account the Secretary of State's guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003, the Council's Statement of Licensing Policy, and the licensing objectives. The Council's Statement of Licensing Policy includes guidelines on trading hours, and these guideline hours are shown in the tables contained within Annex 7. The Licensing Subcommittee is asked to determine the application, having regard to the representations received and any evidence heard at the hearing, in accordance with the options set out in paragraph 15 of the licensing report. Thank you very much for listening, and I welcome any questions.
Thank you very much. Councillor Davies, do you have any questions of the officer?
I think I'll save them for the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kim, do you have any questions for the officer?
Yes, I do. I wonder what kind of facilities are ready or available at the premises? How many cars can park currently at the premises?
Looking at the plan submitted by the applicant, it does show dedicated parking spaces within the site. Of course, it might be a question to clarify with the applicant as to the exact numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, we can hold that question for the applicant possibly, if that's okay with you, Councillor Kim.
Yes, I'll do that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, and perhaps the applicant can have regard to that when they are presenting, because they are next. I now call on the applicant to give a summary of the application. Paragraph 47 on page 5 of the agenda pack deals with the length of time an applicant can speak, and because we have 2 other persons speaking against the application, you will have 10 minutes to present. Alice will advise you when you have 1 minute left, and again when your time is up. So over to you, Mr. Chinnery. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time. As already mentioned, this is a new application for an existing premises license that we currently hold. Just a little context, the one that we currently hold at the moment allows us to the provision of recorded music on a Friday till Sunday till 12:30 hours, 0:30, and the sale of alcohol till 0:30. I'm applying for just a short 30 minutes extension to our current existing license due to over the summer, as a club, we have heavily invested into improve the facilities. We currently have an application in with building planning to build a nine-a-side and some paddle courts to open the club up to for our youth section to be able to train, to invest the money into the club and into the surrounding areas. And with that, we've just made some improvements to within the grounds. I can quickly probably jump to the parking spaces. We have extended the on-site parking tarmac, so we could probably roughly around 50. And on a summer's day, we've got grass beyond that where we can fulfill more cars on site. There are additional parking venues that we do use if that sort of helps Mr. Kim, Councillor Kim. As I said, this is as part of the improvements we've last year we redid the clubhouse. It's more disabled friendly. We've ensured that all surfaces are flat so that wheelchair access is accessible. We've tarmacked it around the pitch so spectators can now, those who are unaided to be able to walk are able to be shown around. We have built an outside bar. This is to alleviate, obviously, in the summer months, just to sort of the provisions of alcohol and to ease the congestion within the clubhouse, as the clubhouse is, I don't have the dimensions on there, I believe they are on the drawings, just to sort of ease the flow. Sorry, excuse me, I'm just flickering through, made some notes. As some of the events, obviously, the hiring out of the facility is primarily Saturday evenings and sometimes Friday. The extension is only to just allow us to just have that slight little bit of flexibility, just to serve a little bit later, as our opening hours are till 100 hours, but the sale currently is stopping at 12:30. Having spoken to licensing and the Metropolitan Police before the application was presented and submitted, it was sort of in conjunction, sort of speaking for their advice and sort of where we could go. The outside bar is an ad hoc facility that will not always be available. Obviously, it will be more of a summer month one of what British summer we get currently. And then with the, as mentioned, the license of music, that again, it's not a 7-day a week thing. That is on more of an ad hoc, as we've currently do community events. We've held sort of local community ones as well as firework nights. And it's just to have the ability to just play a bit of music. Obviously, the again, in conjunction and speaking with advice from Metropolitan Police and the licensing, it was sort of the request for a 10 o'clock. Instead of just doing specific days, it was just to have on the 7 days, but it wouldn't be used in that manner. As again, as I said, this will be more of an ad hoc and advertised. The extension on a Friday and a Saturday, again, would be for us, our discretion only, and it wouldn't be something that we'd advertise to hire in the facilities. Obviously, to hire the facility is also a sorry, excuse my words, a avenue for us to maintain the club and keep the facilities running to provide football for our youth section, which provides football to local kids within the facility. Obviously, with everything, things come at a cost, and obviously we do have ground rents and stuff, so we do need to find another avenue, as the level of football we play is non-league. You could borderline at the amateur level, so we have to self-fund to sustain the club. Otherwise, we do face going out of existence as one of the oldest clubs in English football, and a lot of history behind us. It would be a very sad state of affairs. And as we said, we're just looking to be self-sustainable and being able to provide to the local community. I have read the objections and more than happy to answer some of their concerns that they've raised. As you said, going back to the parking, we do have parking available primarily on a Saturday on a match day. This is used by a lot of players. The players are coming in from home and away, as well as their coaching staff, as well as sort of committee members, families, and people unable to walk. We do recommend people use public transport. We also have use of the Scouts parking facility. We do direct people onto the bowls as well, and on the industrial estate where there is a pathway to walk through. Again, going back to it, we are not a professional club, and and our average gate is probably about 100, 160 people on a good day, or it could be 30 people on an average day. So it very depends. So on site, we feel like we have sufficient parking available within the grounds and within a stone's throw of a facility, the Air Cadets and Scouts area. In regards to, other issues that were raised, the antisocial behaviour, and as I'm led to believe, we've not had a complaint or any issues in recent years, and we hope that's to strongly continue. As we said, by the time of our normal residential hire out, or our current hire outs, there's probably only a handful of people waiting for their Ubers or cabs, leaving the premises in a quiet, controlled manner. So it's not a case of thousands of people walking out the venue. We do limit to maximum 100 people of a hire out, which is in our current license, and I believe that is still the same. As well as littering and alcohol. We obviously do sell soft drinks, and we do have a number of bins on site, dotted around the ground, for rubbish to be disposed of. On a match day, we serve in plastic glasses on site, and we do not allow drinks off site. Again, sort of just reading some of the objections. We do our best to control the area, but unfortunately we can't control people on their way in. Those who use the park and are not attending the ground, there are people that use the open fields and the areas there that have nothing to do with us on a match day. We currently probably play at home events occasional Tuesday evenings and probably Saturdays, and maybe have roughly 25 games over a course of a 9-month period. So we're not constantly there. The club does not operate open Monday to Friday as a premises or sort of as a public venue in regards to sort of the daily sale. It is primarily open on Saturdays for football games, and on Sundays for parents and kids to buy soft drinks and some food whilst they're playing football on the King George's fields. So our operational hours really are only on a Saturday and a Sunday, with ad hoc Fridays if we do have hire outs. The provision for the New Year's, it was just a optional that if we'd like to do something for New Year's, as some of our members of the club have asked about if we would look into it. So that was another provision that we just wanted to, with all the improvements we're making and potentially the redevelopment, we just wanted to make sure that we have a facility there for all the local communities to be able to come and use, and ensure that we are providing the best service as possible. Happy to answer any other questions or any concerns to the best of my ability. I don't know how long I've got left. Sorry.
That's fine. No, that's really great. That's great. If you've finished, you don't have to use the whole time.
Cool.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to go to member questions now. I can see Councillor Davies has raised her hands. Let's go to her first.
I appreciate that the outside bar closes at 10, but at the moment, do people still take alcoholic drinks outside after 10 o'clock?
So we don't actually, the outside bar has been built, and the sale to 10 o'clock is just a cut-off time. It wouldn't actually, on a game day, realistically, the bar would shut by 5 o'clock on the outside. That was just if we were to host another fireworks event or a community event that was a little bit longer, then maybe that bar would be open a little bit later. But we wanted to have a time where it would be cut off and everyone would have to go inside. So at the moment, we don't have the provision to use the outside bar. It has been sort of, whilst all the building works, it is an area that has been built. But yeah, part of the speaking and sort of when looking at this new application, it was because it wasn't within the zone that our current alcohol premises license to be able to sell alcohol. It was obviously the extension added on, but the 10 o'clock is not bang, it shuts at 10. That is just an open discretionary. So as I said, it wouldn't be open on a Tuesday night game because we don't kick off till 7:45. It would be again probably only for the next few Saturdays that we do have actually a home game, which I don't believe we do. I think we've got about 1 or 2 out of the next 8 games. It would be on a hot summer's day. I mean, if it was raining, I think most people would rather go and stand inside and queue up. So the provision till 10 is just something to have if we were to do a local community event where sort of people turn up just again to ease the strain from the inside bar, that people can obviously go to the outside bar. And obviously we do have a food van there as well. So it's just to sort of stem the flow of queuing.
I have another quick one, if I may, Chair.
Please.
The evening parties on Saturday nights, for example, where people will play loud music, what is your insulation like? Do you have rules about keeping windows closed? What are your systems?
So, sorry, Councillor. We do, as again, we have had a massive refurb of the club to modernise it. So we have got double glazing, no doors are left open. Obviously, we try to sort of have a reasonable response of music played on the inside. As I said, it's not sort of like a concert setup, if that makes sense. It's external, so people hire DJs to come in. We don't have an internal system. It was just a little bit too much, and unfortunately, we didn't have enough money to sort of look at it. But it was something we did consider. But then you also need all the other equipment to go with it. But yeah, normally the DJ would turn up with their mixer, I believe it's called, sorry, and one speaker maybe. So yeah, as I said, it's not a concert style. It is more of a sort of more intimate state of affairs, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Councillor Davies, do you have a supplementary?
No, thank you. That's me done. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Kim, I can see your hands raised. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah. I have just one question regarding the public safety. I mean, the parking condition during the larger event. Can you clarify the current capacity of the car park, and also whether there's any plan or option to use the adjacent grace area or the nearby walking space as a temporary overflow parking to elevate the pressure on surrounding residential road?
Sorry, Councillor, I did get most of it. So in regards to our current spaces, I believe we've just extended with the additional tarmacking area for hard ground parking. I believe it's about 50 parking spaces. It might be a few more. Unfortunately, sorry, I haven't got the exact numbers. As I said, we do have a greenery area that during summer months, and when it's dry, that there is additional, which can extend that even more. And then we do see along the side of the furthest end, there is space there for people to park their cars. If we wanted on site, as I said, just before the rail bridge, there is the air cadets, which we have use of, which do hold a lot more cars. On a match day, we do our best to put cones out to allow sort of accessibility. Obviously, cars do park on the outside of our ground to go and use the park space. And by putting the barriers up, it's sort of, we try and avoid people double parking to allow for emergency vehicles. As a firefighter who has served Kingston for a few years, I sort of do harp onto the ground and the committee as a committee member as well, that we need to ensure accessibility for emergency vehicles, not just ambulances, as well as fire engines, as seen recently with the recent fire within the park. I also use the ground as a training venue for the London Fire Brigade, just because of the location of it. It makes a great training venue for rural fires. Obviously, we do get a lot of grass fires in and around the area. So I have had it sort of signed off by hierarchy as a training venue. So we have had fire engines blocking the road at times for a training exercise to be well prepared for any other grass fires within the local area. And obviously, some of the local crews that did turn up recently had been on those training days, so found it very useful and understood where the hydrant was and where trucks needed to be placed. So yeah, we do all our best to, and as I said, we do recommend people, if they can't park there, they can use the bowls car park, which is accessible via Jubilee Way. There is no pathway driving up to it through Queen Mary's Close, or they can use the industrial estate, which is on the back end of the grounds, and there is a public footpath that they can walk through to the ground that way.
Thank you. Councillor Kim, do you have a supplementary?
Yes, for the parking and crowd management, what arrangement would be made to ensure such areas are safely managed and properly stewarded and afterward restored after the use?
So on match days, we do have a parking attendant who walks around ensuring cars are parked safely and correctly, also that there is no antisocial behaviours or cars are broken into. And then as they walk up and down, if they do see a car trying to move a cone, they reiterate that the cone's there for a reason, to obviously protect the area, to allow emergency vehicle access. As I said, we don't sort of we do condemn, sorry, the word, double parking, as again, for accessibility for emergency vehicles, not just fire engines, but we do have incidences where ambulances have been called and need to get access to as close to the pitch as possible.
Thank you. Councillor Kim, do you have any further questions?
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. As set out in the report, the representations received from responsible authorities were withdrawn following mediation. And so with that in mind, we're going to move on to now representations from other persons. As set out in the report, 3 valid representations were received from other persons. We have 2 in attendance, each having 5 minutes to speak. As before, Alice will advise when each speaker has 1 minute left and indeed when their time is up. I'm first going to ask Vicky Harris if she would like to address the subcommittee, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Seems odd being this side of the table, as it were. Anyway, this is a very difficult one because on one hand, I am very supportive of Corinthian Casuals, what they're doing, what they want to achieve. They are a great local football club and they do an awful lot for the kids in the area, which is great. It does worry me slightly listening to some of the things that John has said, especially when he uses words like redevelopment. Their site is located right on top of a residential area. They are very close to some of the houses, especially the houses in Queen Mary Close. And they do have a significant effect on local residents in the area. The report clearly says that parking issues are outside the control of the licensing committee, but traffic and parking have a huge impact on the area, and any increase in anything that the club does will only add to that. John has mentioned about on match days, and I can tell you just recently on a Tuesday evening I had to go across the fields and it must have taken me 10 minutes to come down Queen Mary Close and get out the other side, getting through all the cars, because not only are they parked all the way down Queen Mary Close, double parked, I have to say, John, on a Tuesday night, they're all in the car park, and not only that, they're all over King George's Fields. So it's, you know, there is parking is everywhere, and whilst I can accept that they've got new parking, I saw them doing the line painting yesterday, John, in fact, so I know the new car park is up and running, but it's not really a new car park. You have to remember that, because all they've done is tarmacs over the grassed area that always used to be parked on, so there is no additional parking, so just don't forget that. Anyway, let's get away from parking and get back to licensing. Yeah, we do get a lot of litter on King George's Fields, and yeah, I accept what John says. It's not all from the football users. There are dog walkers and other people that use King George's, but certainly after a weekend there is huge numbers of plastic bottles left laying around everywhere, and with the best will in the world, the council's litter picking and maintenance is not like it used to be. and it's just an eyesore and a health hazard. Noise and antisocial behaviour, well, we can always associate those with licensed premises, can't we? And I think to extend these licensing hours, I know you're saying it's only another half an hour, John, that you're applying for, but at 1 o'clock on the weekends, I just think it's entirely appropriate in a residential area like this. Whilst I agree that casuals can control their patrons' behaviour when they're inside their grounds, you can't do that once people come out the gates and they start walking down the road. And late night, after a social evening out, people will always make noise. They're talking, they're laughing, opening and slamming car doors, and right under the bedroom windows of people living in Queen Mary Close is not good. And I just think that any increase in their licensing activities will just make life worse for the residents that there are. It will have an extremely detrimental effect. I think that will probably do me. You'll be pleased to know. There you go, 1 minute as well. Okay, thanks very much.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Vicky. I'll start with Councillor Kim this time. Do you have any questions for Vicky Harris?
Yes, Chair. Yeah, I have just one question. I wonder the distance between the pub and your house. How far is it?
My house is, I'm no good with distances, but I don't live right on top of the site. I don't live in Queen Mary Close. I actually live in Hook Rise South, so I'm not right on top of it. But I can assure you that I've lived here for a very long time, and I've seen all the changes, and I know quite well the effect that casuals have on the surrounding area.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Davies, do you have any questions?
Just a quick clarification. When you said it took you 10 minutes, were you walking down the close, or were you driving? I was just a bit confused.
I was walking, yes.
So you were picking your way between parked cars?
I was, yes.
Okay.
Well, in fact, I was on my mobility scooter, so that makes it even more difficult trying to get through.
Right, I understand now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Chinnery, I will come back to you to make closing statements, but the process doesn't allow for you to intervene at the moment. Thank you, Vicky, for your representation. I'll call on you again in the closing section to make a closing statement, but can I now turn to Stephen Griffiths? Stephen, as with Vicky, as I said, you'll have 5 minutes or up to 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you. I'll probably reiterate a lot of things that Vicky said. I've got friends who live in Queen's Mary Close, and it has taken them 20 minutes, talking about traffic, to drive up that road and get parked. And then they find casuals, users parked in their parking spaces that are meant to be private. But we're not talking about parking. That's a separate issue. We could probably raise that under the planning and consent that's going on. So the licensing is for the entire property. So whilst they're selling alcohol inside from 10 o'clock, technically people can still go outside to drink alcohol and make noise. Is that correct? That's what I'm reading.
I'm afraid this is your opportunity for you to speak as opposed to ask questions, Mr. Griffiths, which is why you were met with silence there.
Okay. So the outside bar to 10 o'clock, that stops. People can still drink outside from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Extending the license to 1 o'clock also then makes the hall more desirable to hire out, which then, whilst the casuals do a good job in controlling the alcohol sales and people on their site when they're in control, when you've got an outside party coming in, they will be less, you know, there'll be more boisterous, I imagine. Parties will be loud. The music to the neighbours is going to be annoying till 1 o'clock. I just feel you're inviting more noise, and you're turning it into almost a mini nightclub. Every Friday and Saturday till 1 o'clock, you can have a disco, a party, or something like that. It's just that is my main concern, is the noise. And people do walk past. Vicky's correct. They do walk past those properties after they come out, because when you come out that time of night, that's the way everyone goes out. People don't tend to walk over a park in the middle of the night. They walk out past those residential properties, and you do get noise. And the residents are very close to it.
Thank you. Is that the end of your representation?
Yeah, thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Davies, do you have any questions for Stephen?
No, I don't. That's very clear. Thank you.
Councillor Kim, do you have any questions for Stephen?
No, not from me either.
No, and thank you, and not from myself either. So thank you for that. That was very clear. Back to Ms. Harris now for any closing remarks that she wishes to make.
Very briefly, Chair, it's just that, as I said right at the beginning, I'm very supportive of what casuals are trying to do on the whole, but I just think that the area where they are situated now, it's just not suitable for any major expansion. And I know John will probably say, well, it's not major expansion, but paddle courts are very popular these days, so I am expecting a big increase once those paddle courts get built. So I just think, unfortunately for them, they're trying to do too much in the wrong area, and extending the licensing will only add to the problems that we currently have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffiths, do you have anything you want to add?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Thank you, which finally brings me back to Mr. Chinnery. John, do you have anything that you want to say in closing?
Yeah, just to address a few of the points. I know we can't talk about parking, but obviously with the housing development that's at the end of Hookrise South, there is a massive increase with cars, again, above and beyond our control. In regards to, unfortunately, Vicky saying it took her 10 minutes on a mobility scooter, there is a clear path that is always maintained for cars to come up and down. So I do apologise if that wasn't, but on a Tuesday evening, unfortunately, I can't always be on the ground. I am a serving firefighter, so I do shift works, and I'm more used to London as a serving firefighter than a on-site bar manager 7 days a week. And within the parking area of the King George's, again, that's not, I will go back to the club and feedback if it is being used by casual youth. As I said, the adults are within our facilities. Trying to they're trying to address and alleviate, as Mr. As Mr. Griffin's point. Two of the houses on Queen Mary's Close, I believe 2 and 3, are actually bar staff and work for the club. So I know we've had objections from number 1 in the area, but I know, as I said, number 2 and number 3 are actually employed to help serve behind the bar. Going back to Vicky's with the paddle courts, there is an application at the moment. If I say the wrong word of redevelopment, of us to develop to ensure that the club is sustainable for the future. Hopefully that might sound a little bit better. Again, as you said, if the club is to go, then there is a lot of kids in the local area that will be unable to play for sports. Regarding the licensing, it's not, as I mentioned in my opening, it's not something that we will advertise the extra 30 minutes. We do have a closing time, so we always stop serving 30 minutes before closing, and we also ensure that the music is turned off 30 minutes at that time as well, so to induce a slowly but surely disperse the crowd. Having worked in the nightclub industry for many years previously to my current job, It is a great form of way. As you said, people will walk past, but most people do get cabs at 12 o'clock, at 12:30 at night. Again, we do our best to control it. We can't put signs up saying, please leave quietly, please respect the neighbours. In facility where the football ground is, there is a train bridge, Network Rail, Southwest train that goes through. So in regards to sort of, there is a bit of noise that comes off a train track. I know it's sort of been mentioned that it's in a heavily residential area, but between us and the houses, there is a train bridge or a train track as well. I'm just sort of trying to answer some of their questions I know I put in at the time. So with the sale of alcohol at the moment, it is on a match day. It's for people that they can move around the ground. Currently, they could only have drunk in the garden area outside the bar and then the main stand. So this is just to allow that. Obviously, again, in council and in constitution and working alongside the Metropolitan Police and licensing, it was explained to them what we were trying to achieve and do, and it was given advice of sort of what's best to put into the application. As I said, we do have a current license that allows us to stop serving at 12:30 and close at 1 o'clock on a Friday and a Saturday. So again, the additional requests are not a public notice to say to people, this is what we're doing. This is just for us to have as an ad hoc basis. And we would use at our discretion, obviously, to take into account we are not a massive professional football club. We are a small football club in a local area like many others. And unfortunately, we do see a decline in recreational sports for young kids, as well as sort of, yes, we do adult football, but so our primary, we do have a massive youth section. In regards to the littering, it will be a note that I will take back and feed back to the committee to ensure that the youth section who do have bins on site to ensure that the park is clear for when we're using it. But there are other sports facilities, sporting teams that use it that are above our control. So I can only put in measures that are controllable by us under the banner of preventing casuals. So taking on board what was said, I will try and implement and help rectify. Again, thank you for the opportunity. As I said, it was just a sort of our point across that we're not looking at being, as mentioned, a nightclub or a late night venue. It is just to give us that little bit more of a leeway if a party sort of we can just run a little bit instead of closing at 30 minutes at 12. It just gives us that little bit of extra leeway. And then going back to, there won't be, this sale of alcohol at 10 o'clock is not a 7-day a week thing. As I said, our primary days are additional ad hoc Tuesday games and primarily on a Saturday. Most of our hire outs are Saturday, but we have had the odd occasional Friday. So again, it is just to ensure that we have everything covered under one license instead of having to keep applying and paying for additional one-off events. This is just to ensure that everything that we'd like to do. Again, local residents are given free tickets to match days. So all of Queen Mary's Close, number one, does regularly attend our games, and he's also attended the community events free of charge, which I know he hasn't put in his comments. So we do like to try and encourage our local communities to come down and watch the game for free of charge and see what the club is in turn and what we're trying to do. As I said, it is one of the oldest clubs in football, and we're just trying to ensure that the history, for those who don't know, there's a lot of history. There's obviously a documentary been made about us traveling to Brazil and coining the phrase soccer and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just to ensure the longevity of the club and help and provide to the local community and youth. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that. And thank you everybody for your comments today. The subcommittee will now withdraw to make its decision. It will be confirmed to all parties by email, and then the full decision notice with reasons will be sent within 5 working days. So if I could ask members of the subcommittee to reconvene in our decision meeting now for the decision, that concludes this hearing. So thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.